In this session, we are going to create an animation on the sprite. Sprite is basically an image. So for the demonstration purpose, we have already created a 2D project in Unity, and we have also created a scene sprite NM inside the project. To begin with, we need to import sprite sheet in the project. What is sprite sheet? Sprite sheet is basically multiple images in a single image in a grid. This is how a sprite sheet would look like. So these are basically multiple images packaged into one single image, and this is called as a sprite sheet. All right, so let's begin with downloading this image here. Now let's get the sprite sheet inside the Unity project here. But before doing that, let's create a folder and name the folder as sprite sheet. Okay, so click on create here and click on folder. Name the folder as sprite sheet. Open the folder and just drag this inside the sprite sheet folder. All right, so this is one single image. Now we need to slice it into multiple images. So how do we do that? Firstly, select the image. All right, and in the sprite mode here, select multiple. Okay, and click on apply here and click on the sprite editor here, and this window will open up. All right, so once you get this window open, click on slice here and select slice option here. Click anywhere on the screen and click on apply. Close the window, and yes, we have multiple images here. Okay, as you all can see here, we have spliced our single image into multiple images now. All right, now we need to use all these multiple images to create an animation. So since we have created multiple sprites out of a single sprite sheet, we will select this particular image. It's an idle image for the person walking. Just drag and drop the person here. Let's scale the size of the sprite here. Let's scale it to 2 on X, Y, and Z axis. Okay, perfect. Now select on the sprite here and go to animation tab here. All right, so let's click on create to add an animation. Rename the animation walking animation. All right, click on save here. Let's drag the animation tab here somewhere. Extend this. So what do we do next? We need to select all the sprites here apart from the original sprite, which is already there inside the scene. Okay, click on control button here and keep on selecting all the other sprites or all other animations which we want to add. Again, it depends on what kind of animation it is. Maybe we want to use just 4 sprites, then just select 4 sprites. If we want to use all the sprites, then select all the sprites. All right, I need all the sprites, so I'm selecting all the sprites here. Okay, just drag and drop all the sprites here. Okay, again, get the tab here to be more comfortable. All right, let's see how the animation looks now. It's too fast. So what do we do here? Just, okay, scroll your mouse and just, okay, minimize this thing. Okay. And to make it a little slow, just increase this to, I think 50 is fine here. Yeah. Just try the animation again. I think it's perfect now. It's looking good. Now let's stop this, save the scene, and let's run the scene here and let's see the output. All right, perfect. We have our sprite walking here. That is how we do animations. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for the session. In the next session, we are going to create a background image or the background for the scene here. And also we're going to move this sprite to left or to right, depending on what arrow keys you're pressing down there. we have applied only one walking animation clip to this particular animator controller right here. In this session, we are going to apply a background image here for this particular scene. Before that, we need to have a background image. Either you can create it or you can download it from the web. So I'm going to download this image and apply it as a background for the scene. So I've already downloaded this image here. Let's get this image into our project. Just drag this image here. So we have imported the image here inside our project. Now the next step would be to create an empty game object which will serve as a background image basically. All right. So right click here on the scene and go to game object and click create empty here. All right. Rename the game object to background. Okay. And just drag and drop this image on the background empty game object here. All right, right now the image is not looking good at all. We need to adjust the scale for the image basically. All right, so let's keep it to, let's say 0.3 on x-axis, 0.3 on y-axis, and 0.3 on the z-axis. Click on the scene tab here. Now this image is not enough. We want to create a huge scene here because we're going to walk eventually using control keys. All right. So what to do next is just choose the image here inside the background empty game object and click on Control D. All right. Now select the move tool here and just move the image. Okay. And again, click on this particular image, which is right in the center. And again, click on Control D, and with the help of move tool, just move the image here. All right. Now the sprite is up in the air and it's flying in the air. We need to make it look like it's on the ground. So what to do next is just select your sprite in the scene and just bring it a little down. Okay, let's go to the scene now. And looks fine now, looks better. Let's click on the play button here and let's see how it looks. All right, it's looking good. The animation is being played and we have a background image as well set for our scene. Currently, if you see here, in spite of playing the animation or applying the animation on the sprite, currently the sprite is not moving forward in the forward direction. Okay. In the next session, we are going to apply the script to the sprite basically to move the sprite in the forward and in the backward direction. Again, we'll create an animation which will be an idle animation. If we are not pressing any keys, then the sprite should stay idle and should stop walking here. We are going to move the sprite using Unity C# script. Okay, for that purpose, let's create a folder here called scripts. Open the scripts folder here and let's write a C# script inside the scripts folder. Sprite is the name of the script. Let's write a piece of code inside the move sprite script. Okay, let's declare a float variable here, float horizontal. We are going to move the sprite on the horizontal axis. So float horizontal. All right. Let's remove the start method. We don't need a start function here. Inside the update function, let's assign a value to the horizontal float variable, which will be your input dot get axis horizontal. Okay, let's apply a condition to check if the sprite is moving in the right direction or the left direction. To check if the sprite is moving in the right direction, let's apply a condition if horizontal greater than 0. All right, inside this, let's use get component, and inside get component, we are going to get sprite renderer, which is by default attached to the sprite. So when we create a sprite, sprite renderer component is attached to it. So we are getting sprite renderer component. Okay, sprite renderer component dot flip x equals to false. Okay, flip x basically will flip the sprite on the x-axis. Over here we want to keep the sprite as it is. We don't want to flip it when the sprite is moving in the right direction, so we're going to keep it to false. Again, let's declare a vector3 variable, vector3 movement equals to new vector3. Okay, so on the x-axis, I want to apply 1.5f, 0 and 0. Okay. Into equals to time dot delta time. All right. And we are going to move the sprite using transform.translate function. So transform.translate, and inside translate, we're going to add movement variable. Okay. So let's apply another condition, which is horizontal lesser than 0, else if. So get component sprite renderer dot flip x equals to true. So when the sprite is moving in the left direction, we are going to flip the sprite on the x-axis basically. Vector 3 moment equals to new vector 3 minus 1.5f on the x-axis, 0 on the y-axis, and 0 on the z-axis. All right. Again, moment into equals to time dot delta time. And lastly, changing the position or transform for the sprite using transform.translate function in Unity. Translate, and inside translate, we're going to add movement here. Okay, so let's save the script and let's attach the script to the sprite here. Let's just drag and drop the script on the sprite. So the script is attached here to the sprite now. Let's run the game and let's see how it works. All right. So let's press the right arrow key on the keyboard and the sprite starts moving in the right direction. Let's press the left arrow key on the keyboard and the sprite starts moving in the left direction. It works fine, but there is a problem here. Even if I stop pressing the arrow keys, we all can see here the animation is not stopping here. Okay, the animation goes on. So in the next session, what we'll be doing, we'll be applying another animation to the sprite basically, which will be an idle animation. So once I release the keys on the keyboard, all right, idle animation will be played, and once I again press on the keys, the walking animation will be played again. So hi friends, my name is Rohan Vasudev. In the last session, we moved the sprite using transform.translate function in Unity. In this session, we are going to apply idle animation to the sprite so that when we stop pressing on the left or the right arrow key, the idle animation will be played and the walking animation will be stopped playing. Alright, so to do that, let's start with creating an idle animation for the sprite here. Select the sprite here in the scene, go to animation tab and click on the drop down here and create a new clip for the sprite. Okay, just click on create new clip here. All right. Now inside any folder or the sprite sheet folder, we can create a new animation clip. Name the clip as idle animation. Okay, save the script, bring the animation tab here, click on the sprite sheet here, and drag the first sprite here, which is an idle animation sprite basically. So this is an idle sprite which will be used for idle animation. Again, bring the animation tab here, just click on the play button. Okay, it's not doing anything because it's an idle animation. So when we stop pressing on the left or the right arrow key, this animation will be played. So we have two animations here. One is the walking animation, another is the idle animation. All right. So over here, the default animation is walking animation. So if we hit the play button, then the starting animation will be a walking animation. So let's change it to idle animation. Okay. Because that should be the entry point. All right. So let's go to animator tab again. Click on idle animation here, and click on set as layer default state. So this will be the default state once we start on the play button in the game. Let's create some transitions. Basically, when we hit the play button, this animation is played as it is set as a default animation now. But when we click on the left or the right arrow key, walking animation will be played. So to do so, just right click on the idle animation, click on make transition to walking animation. All right. Similarly, right click on the walking animation, make transition, and then bring it down to the idle animation. Just click on the arrow here, deselect this, click on the settings here, and transition duration, make it to 0 because we don't want to set any duration. Transition duration is basically the duration for the transition between the two animations. Okay. Again, click on this arrow, uncheck this has exit time, and set the transition duration here to 0 again. All right. Now we need to set some conditions to check whether the player is pressing on the arrow keys or not pressing on the arrow keys. Okay, so do so. We need to create a parameter here. So let's create a new parameter by pressing on the plus button here. Now there are 4 types of parameters that we can create. We are going to create here a bool data type of parameter. Okay, so let's give it a name, can walk. So this is the name of the parameter. Again, click here on the arrow, okay, and set the condition here. If can walk is true, then walking animation will be played, and if can walk is false, then idle animation will be played. So let's set one condition here, can walk true. So this simply means if can walk is true, walking animation will be played. Okay, click on the arrow here again set a condition. Okay, if can walk is false, then idle animation will be played. Now we need to call the animator which is attached to the sprite. So to do so, let's declare an animator here, animator anim. Okay, we don't have a start function here, so let's add start function. We need to initialize the animator, all right, as soon as the game starts. So anim equals to get component animator. All right, now inside this we need to set the bool which is can walk to true if we press on the arrow key. So to do so, anim dot set bool. The name of the parameter was can walk, and set it to true here. Okay, again inside this condition, again we need to set the bool to true. Set bool can walk to true. All right, let's declare an else condition here. So if the player is not walking or the character is not walking, let's set the anim dot set bool can walk to false again. can walk. False. All right. So let's save the script here. And everything is set here. Let's run the game and let's see the output. So right now I'm not pressing on the arrow keys here, so the idle animation is being played. Let's click on the, or let's press on the right arrow key here, and the walking animation starts playing. All right. So the moment I release the key, idle animation is being played again. Let's move to left again. Okay. So the walking animation starts playing. Let me release the arrow key here. All right. We'll make the main camera follow the character here. So it's very simple to do so. Let's select main camera here and make it the child object for the sprite game object here, or the sprite here. Okay, so just drag it and put it inside your sprite. All right, let's play the scene again. All right, so the camera is following the player as well. Okay, it stops. Okay, here we go. Looking good. All right, so that's it. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you in the next session. Thank you so much, guys.